What would you do if you were 76 years old, raising your 13-year-old granddaughter on $1,200 a month, and she asked for just one thing? Barbara worked 3 jobs for 6 months to buy 2 Taylor Swift tickets. What happened when Taylor found out changed everything. Barbara Jenkins was 76 years old when her daughter died. Not old age, not illness, a car accident on I-95 during morning rush hour. A truck driver fell asleep at the wheel, crossed 3 lanes, and hit Sarah's Honda Civic head-on. Sarah died instantly. Her husband, Michael, who was in the passenger seat, died 2 hours later at the hospital. They left behind a 13-year-old daughter named Emma. Barbara had been retired for 11 years. She lived on Social Security, $1,200 a month, in a small 1-bedroom apartment in Wilmington, Delaware. She had arthritis in both knees, high blood pressure, and the kind of tired that comes from living 76 years. Her retirement plan was simple: play bingo on Tuesdays, watch her stories, and visit Sarah and Emma on weekends. Then came the phone call that changed everything. There was no other family. Sarah had been an only child. Michael's parents were dead. His sister lived in Australia and couldn't take Emma. The social worker was very gentle when she explained that Emma would go into foster care unless Barbara could take her. "She's 13, the social worker said. "A difficult age, lots of trauma. She'll need therapy, stability, supervision. Are you sure you can handle that at your age?" Barbara looked at the social worker and said the only thing that made sense: "She's my granddaughter. Of course I can handle it." But handling it turned out to be harder than Barbara expected. Her 1-bedroom apartment became Emma's bedroom. Barbara slept on the pull-out couch in the living room. Her $1,200 monthly Social Security check, which had been tight but manageable for one person, now had to cover 2. Groceries doubled. The electric bill went up because Emma needed lights on to do homework. The water bill tripled because teenagers take long showers. Barbara cancelled her cable, stopped going to bingo, started buying generic everything. But it still wasn't enough. Emma was grieving. She barely spoke. She'd sit in Barbara's old bedroom, now her room, with the door closed, listening to music through her headphones. The only time Barbara saw her granddaughter's face light up was when Taylor Swift came on. Emma had been a Swiftie since she was 7 years old. Sarah had taken her to see Taylor when she was 9, the 1989 tour. It was one of Emma's favorite memories. She and her mum, singing Shake It Off at the top of their lungs, eating overpriced nachos, making friendship bracelets in the parking lot before the show. After the accident, Emma stopped listening to most music, but not Taylor Swift, that she kept playing, over and over, especially Marjorie, the song about Taylor's grandmother. Emma would play it and cry, and Barbara would stand outside the door listening, not knowing how to help. 3 months after moving in with Barbara, Emma came to the kitchen table, where Barbara was doing a crossword puzzle. "Nana," Emma said quietly. It was the first time she'd initiated a conversation in weeks. "Yes, sweetheart? The Eras Tour is coming to Philadelphia in 6 months. Barbara's heart sank. She knew where this was going. "I know tickets are expensive," Emma continued, her voice small, "and I know we don't have money, but it's the only thing I want. Mum was going to take me. We'd already planned it before." She couldn't finish the sentence. Barbara looked at her 13-year-old granddaughter, this child who'd lost everything, who barely smiled anymore, who was asking for one single thing. "How much are tickets?" Barbara asked. Emma pulled up her phone. "The cheapest seats are $450 each, so $900 for both of us." $900. That was almost Barbara's entire monthly check. That was 3 months of her grocery budget. That was impossible. "Let me see what I can do," Barbara said. That night after Emma went to bed, Barbara did the math. She had $300 in savings, emergency money she'd been keeping for years. Even if she used all of it, she'd still be $600 short, and the concert was in 6 months. She needed to make $600 in 6 months, while still paying rent, groceries, utilities, Emma's therapy appointments. The math was impossible, unless she got a job. The next morning, Barbara put on her best dress, 20 years old but still presentable, and started walking around her neighborhood, asking if anyone was hiring. She knew nobody wanted to hire a 76-year-old woman with arthritis, but she had to try. The first 15 places said no. Too old, Too slow, insurance liability, no positions available. At the 16th place, a small cleaning company, the manager, a tired-looking woman named Rosa, looked at Barbara's application and sighed. "I can't pay much," Rosa said. 5 hours a week. Early morning office cleaning, 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Saturdays, $10 an hour. Cash. "I'll take it," Barbara said immediately. $50 a week, $200 a month. In 6 months, that would be $1,200. She'd be $600 over what she needed, enough to cover the emergency fund she'd have to use. But when Barbara got home and redid the math, she realized she'd forgotten something. Emma kept growing. She needed new shoes, new clothes, school supplies, lunch money. The extra $200 a month from cleaning would just cover Emma's expenses. She was back to square one. The next week, Barbara found a second job, bagging groceries at Save-A-Lot. 3 afternoons a week, 4 hours each shift. Another $120 a week. Then a third job, babysitting for her neighbor's 2 kids after school, 2 days a week. Another $80. 3 jobs, at 76 years old, with arthritis in her knees, working 30 hours a week, on top of raising a traumatized teenager. Barbara didn't tell Emma. She said she'd picked up a little cleaning work to keep busy. Emma was too wrapped up in her own grief to question it. For 6 months, Barbara worked. She cleaned offices at 5 a.m. on Saturdays, her knees screaming with every squat to scrub a toilet. She bagged groceries 3 afternoons a week, standing for 4 hours at a time, her back aching. She watched 2 wild 6-year-olds every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, chasing them around a playground when all she wanted was to sit down. She came home exhausted, fell asleep on the couch by 8 p.m., woke up at 4 a.m. on Saturdays to get to the cleaning job, took 4 ibuprofen a day for the pain, hid her swollen ankles under long pants, never complained, never told Emma. By month 3, she'd saved $400. By month 5, $750. She was going to make it. The day before Barbara bought the tickets, she collapsed while bagging groceries. Her knees just gave out. 1 second she was putting cans in a bag, the next she was on the floor. The store manager called an ambulance. The EMT said she was severely dehydrated and exhausted. "Ma'am, you need to rest," the EMT said. "Your body can't keep this up." "I just need 1 more month," Barbara said. "Then I can rest." She bought the tickets the next day. 2 seats, section 204, $550 each. She used every cent she'd saved plus her emergency fund. Her bank account had $43 left until the next Social Security check. When she showed Emma the confirmation email, her granddaughter cried for the first time since the funeral. But these were different tears. These were happy tears. "Nana, how did you—" "Don't worry about it," Barbara said, hugging her. "Your mama would have wanted you to go, so you're going." The night of the concert, Barbara could barely walk. Her knees were swollen, her back hurt. She'd worked 43 hours that week to make up the money she'd spent on tickets. But she put on her best outfit, helped Emma get ready. The girl had made 20 friendship bracelets, and they took the train to Philadelphia. Emma was transformed. For the first time in 10 months, she looked like a kid again, excited, alive. She sang every word to every song. She traded friendship bracelets with strangers. She screamed until her voice was hoarse. Barbara sat next to her, trying to hide how much pain she was in. Her knees were throbbing. Her vision was blurry from exhaustion. But watching Emma smile, really smile, made every aching moment worth it. Then, during Lover, Barbara felt the world tilt. The stadium lights got too bright, then too dark. She reached for Emma's arm. "Sweetie, I need to—" She didn't finish the sentence. Barbara collapsed. Security and medical staff were there in seconds. Emma was screaming, crying. They got Barbara on a stretcher, started checking her vitals. She was conscious but disoriented. "I'm okay," Barbara kept saying. "I'm okay. Don't ruin Emma's night. Please, she needs this." A security guard, going through Barbara's purse to find her ID, found something else. A worn piece of paper, folded and refolded. He opened it. It was Barbara's work schedule. 3 jobs, color-coded, handwritten notes in the margins. Ticket fund, $823, 1 more month, for Emma. The guard looked at the EMT, then at Emma, who was sobbing. "Wait here," he said, and ran. 5 minutes later, someone from Taylor's team appeared. Then more people. They talked to the EMTs, to Emma, to Barbara, who was insisting she was fine and just needed water. "Mrs. Jenkins," the Taylor Swift representative said, "we're going to take care of you, both of you. Can you stand?" They helped Barbara to a private medical area behind the stage. A real doctor checked her out. Severe exhaustion, dehydration, her body shutting down from 6 months of overwork. Nothing life-threatening if she rested, but she needed to rest. While the doctor worked, the representative talked to Emma, got the whole story, the accident, Barbara taking her in, the 3 jobs, the 6 months of secret work, the tickets that cost everything. After the concert ended, Taylor came to the medical area. Barbara was sitting up now, drinking water, mortified by all the attention. Emma was holding her hand, still crying. "Mrs. Jenkins," Taylor said, sitting down next to her, "I heard what you did. I heard about the 3 jobs. I just wanted her to see you," Barbara said. "Her mama would have brought her, so I had to." Taylor's eyes filled with tears. "You worked 3 jobs for 6 months. You're 76 years old. You did that for concert tickets. I did it for her," Barbara corrected, squeezing Emma's hand. Taylor looked at Emma. "Your grandmother is a superhero. You know that, right?" Emma nodded, crying too hard to speak. Taylor stayed with them for 20 minutes. She talked to Emma about grief, about losing people you love, about how music helps. She talked to Barbara about sacrifice and love and what it means to show up for someone. Before she left, Taylor did 3 things. First, she arranged for a car service to take them home. No train for Barbara in this condition. Second, she gave Emma a guitar. Not just any guitar, one of Taylor's own guitars, signed with a note that said, "For Emma, your grandmother loves you more than anything." That's something worth singing about. Third, she made a phone call. Within a week, Barbara received a letter from Taylor's team. They'd set up a fund, enough to cover Emma's expenses until she turned 18. Barbara wouldn't need 3 jobs anymore. She wouldn't need any jobs. She could just be a grandmother. Today, Barbara is 77 years old. Her knees still hurt, but she's not cleaning offices at 5 a.m. anymore. She's not bagging groceries or chasing 6-year-olds around playgrounds. She's making breakfast for Emma, helping with homework, and teaching her granddaughter to play the guitar Taylor gave them. Emma is 14 now. She still misses her parents every single day, but she's learning to play guitar. She's writing songs, one called Nana, that makes Barbara cry every time. She talks about going to Berklee College of Music someday. The guitar sits in their living room, Barbara's living room, because they're still in that same 1-bedroom apartment where Barbara sleeps on the pull-out couch. They don't need a bigger place. They have each other. They have music. They have enough. The story of what Barbara did went viral after someone from Taylor's team shared it with Barbara's permission. People sent money, which Barbara donated to organizations that help grandparents raising grandchildren. "I don't need charity," Barbara said. "I need people to know that there are thousands of grandparents out there doing what I did. They just don't get caught collapsing at Taylor Swift concerts." The lesson here isn't that working 3 jobs at 76 is noble or good. It's not. It's heartbreaking that Barbara had to do that. But what is noble is the kind of love that shows up every single day. The kind that says, "I will do whatever it takes." The kind that works through pain because someone you love needs you too. Barbara didn't work 3 jobs for Taylor Swift tickets. She worked 3 jobs for Emma, for her granddaughter's smile, for one night where a grieving 13-year-old could forget her pain and just be a kid again. That's the kind of love that changes everything. If this story reminded you that family isn't always who you're born to, but who shows up for you, share it. If you know someone raising grandchildren, help them. If you see an elderly person working when they should be retired, remember they might be Barbara. They might be working 3 jobs to make one kid smile, and they deserve better than that. They deserve help. They deserve community. They deserve to know that they're not alone. Barbara worked 3 jobs at 76 because she had to, but she shouldn't have had to. None of them should.